It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Okay, look at it, look at it. Here we go. The Death Star window Detolf version. As promised, we are working very hard to ship out everyone's order before Christmas. Starting with the Detolf version next week, the True Skill version, and then we are going to try to get the ultimate version out before Christmas too. So as normal, I do the unboxing and the assembly video for you. Checklist with the aluminum window unit, the windowsill plates, a complete 15-inch LED screen with SD card and remote inside the box with an extra power adapter for the region you are in. So they come with the European adapter, and there will be an extra power adapter for those people in the UK or USA territories or the Asia, Australia territories. So it'll work wherever you are. There will be a floor unit, there will be bolts for mounting the screen, some 3M tape that's already mounted, and we have added a bit of extra glue. Here is the extra power adapter. This is the USA territories one, so it's going to have a USA adapter as extra. Then the bag with the glue, the mounting bolts, and the spacers and everything. We'll get to that later. Then you will find the window sills in here. We couldn't ship this mounted because it would be guaranteed to break, damage, bend, or whatever. So most of the assembly will be done, of course, as you are used to from us, but this is the window unit, solid aluminum, and a digital photo frame in black. How cool is that? So, this is the base unit. As you see, the 3M is already mounted for the window sills, and then on the back this is the mounting bracket for the screen. So when we start, the only thing you'll have to do is bend back these panels, which have already been pre-cut, so it's just a matter of bending, and then you mount the sills. Let's start by bending back these things a little over 45 degrees to start with, and for this one I like to torque it a little bit because there's a very weird construction going on in the Death Star itself, with the top being angled and the bottom being straight, or close to straight as possible. So just torque this a little bit, not a lot, like that. Put that aside for a moment. Let's unbox the screen. The screen will come with, let's see. Well, this is the optional mount, but since we have it floating, this is useless. It'll come with the manual for the screen. It'll come with a remote. There's a clear plastic tab here that you can pull so that the battery starts working. The battery is already inside the remote. And then this is the European power adapter, but that's only for my clients in Europe. So let's get out the screen. There we go. So here's the photo frame. It still has the protective film on there. Let's leave it on there until we're completely done. The SD card is already in the slot So all you'll have to do is pull this out and download the latest version of our movie onto it. You have to take it out and remove the files that are on there. First, take it from the locked position, move this little slider up so you can remove those files. Then, for several legal issues, we did not put the video that Robert made for us on here, but there's an email address I will put up on the screen and down in the description below that everybody with a verified purchase can get the download link to put the file on there. I already put it on this one, so just move the here's the slot, put it in the slot, make sure the switch is in the on position, and then you take the adapter that comes with the in the box. So it'll just turn on when you give it power, and you will find that it will start automatically on the one video that you have on there. Now, this is the gorgeous video that Robert made for us with enough room to spare so that you can move the screen a little bit up and down, but as you can see, it looks best centered. Now, for a few screens we found that it doesn't autoplay. There's no problem. We'll just go to the setup, and then you can see that there's a repeat all and autoplay function that you just make sure that's on repeat all and repeat on movie. Then another thing that Robert found is that if you put the brightness on 8, that'll give you a very nice contrast and the best black values. So that's just the backlight adjustment. And then you just push the movie button again, and it'll start playing and it'll start repeating. So you can turn it on and off that way. If you point down, even if it's mounted in the screen, later you can use the remote. But if you just cut the power and reapply the power once you've done this setup, if you have to do that at all, you will see that it always starts playing this video. So you'll only need to do this once. So let's put this in the diorama. Be very careful. The aluminum is sharp like a knife because of the machining. So let's just make sure that that doesn't happen. It doesn't damage the screen. And then let's put it in a Detolf. Time to get this bag. Now, when you put this window unit face down, I suggest protecting the airbrush job that I personally did by placing it on the foam and the bubble wrap. Slide the spacer in, and then slide the bolt in here. Do the same on this end. Slide the spacer in. Put the bolt in. You will feel when the bolt grabs hold of the thread. Don't force anything, no need for that. Then put on these wing nuts. Now don't over tighten them. So the screen is now mounted, and as you can see, it stands on its own, so it doesn't have to be in a Detolf. So you'll have there might be a little bit of milling residue in here, so but you can clean that up very easily, as you can see. The big one, or the higher one, goes in the top, and the smaller one in the bottom. And that one is quite easy. We just pull back like that. Just place it in, and just about where it hits the screen, or slightly before, this is where we place the unit. Make sure that it is even with the front, but it's supposed to stick out like somewhere between 1 and 2 millimeters. For the Imperial guys and girls, I'm sorry, I can't. It's probably, what is that, 1/10 of an inch? Something. So close to the screen, with a little bit sticking out, and it being perfectly parallel with the front here. That's where we want it, and that's secure. Okay, so now this one, same goes here. Make sure you got about 1 or 2 mils extra here. Press it down, and then there will be a little gap. We'll address that later. Oh, actually, we can address that now. So you will get some glue inside your kit. Twist off the cap, use the other end to puncture the foil protection, twist the cap back on, twist off the top, and just first off around here where there's not a perfect seal, press it down. I like to blow on it a little. And while I'm holding this, because you won't see anything, I suggest going past the entire top, just as an extra security measure, and just hold it for a little while. Now this is super glue, and it's very, very thin, runny stuff, so it gets into the creases and cracks like that. Be careful using activator or what is that? An actuator, because that might mess with the paint. If you want to do that, just test it on a invisible surface first. As you can see, perfect, like that, exactly what we want. So now we test fit the sides. There's one with a sharper angle and a less sharp angle. The sharper angle goes in the top, and we do a dry fit first to see how much more bending we need to do on this end. And then, as you can see, it should fit without glue. We've put a 45-degree bevel on all ends. And as you can see, it fits mightily good, but it does bend out a little. That's because of the pressure. This is why we use the 3M and the super glue for that too. Feel free to bend it until you feel comfortable with all the angles. Just make sure there's no gaps. It should work without gaps. That's the way it was designed anyway. All right, press it in. Keep it away from the 3M because that'll grab hold before you want it to. Push it back so that it's even in the back and in the front. And when you're happy, push it down on the 3M like that. I like it a lot. Same goes for this end. Look at the angles. The sharp angle goes on top. do a dry fit first. So this needs to be bent back a little bit more. Slide it in. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Take off the 3M. Push it back. Try to keep it away from the 3M until you're ready to push it in entirely. Like that. Flush. I like to correct the angles until I'm happy. So pushing it down in the center, pushing it up here. And then just a thin line across the edge. Same here. Hold it down. Blow on it so it runs into the crevice. But the capillary action should do that as well. Like that. And I'm thinking that looks very good. Just a word of warning though, this stuff is very, very water thin. So that's excellent, exactly what we want with the capillary action that it provides. Just be careful. A little goes a long way. Just make sure you hit every spot. And again, too much will run where you don't want it to go. So that's just a word of warning. Yes? So this is how it should look. Move the screen up and down until you're happy. Make sure that these lines are quite parallel to the top here, that you can see those numbers. So basically just get the screen centered in the windowsill and you're good to go. And that looks pretty good. That looks hot. So I'm going to put it in a Detolf, get some figures in there, and do some final shots, final thoughts. Alright, so welcome to the prototype Detolf. It has literally seen every single one of them. I've cleared out a shelf. You can still see all the prototype wiring. The shelf that will hold the window, the Death Star Detolf Death Star window. So let me see, this is a good view. I already threaded the wire through the back for the power supply for the screen. And then it just becomes a very simple exercise of plugging in the power. There you go. And then get the floor. So you'll find the floor in a red bag. Beautiful Death Star pattern. High quality black industrial grade gloss. Perfect. Love it. So let's get our main actors on stage.